Right, okay, so welcome to Rogers and Welch's film company. We look to commission some exciting new film projects from up-and-coming filmmakers, and we're hoping that you two have got a good idea for us today, and for you to sort of sell that idea to us.
Yeah.
So, is there anything you'd like to say, Miss, before we start?
No, let's hear it, please, girls.
Okay.
Right, so we think our film's going to be taken.
Mhm.
That's our working title, but it might change. And it's about a girl who's playing in her garden and she goes missing. And it's going to be about all her family, like, trying to look for her and, like, the fact that she's gone missing. And then it's going to, like, show, like, this strange family, like, raising her, like, a while away. And then we'll see her when she's, like, 3. And then we'll see her when she's like 16, when she's like grown up and like living away from them and stuff.
That's what we'll see throughout the whole of the film if we were to make the whole film.
Yeah. In the
Okay.
first few minutes, you're just going to see the opening. There's the girl actually getting taken, and then you're just going to see like snapshots of her like as she grows up, and then like as a teenager, and then the actual film's going to be like the journey like she goes along and like her family goes on.
And then we said we were going to do a plot twist, didn't we, at the end?
Yeah.
Which is basically where, at the start, when she's actually born, she gets swapped as a baby, and the person who steals her is actually her real father.
Right, okay.
Okay.
It's a nice idea. Really like the idea. Okay. In terms of the title, we have a bit of an issue there. And there was a very famous film called Taken. So
Was it?
yeah, there was. That's
Oh
not,
right, okay. It's a working title.
yeah, absolutely. You can change it. So it just might be
Yeah.
worth rethinking that. Just because somebody who watches your film who's already seen the film Taken
Yeah.
will automatically probably think of that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't know that.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about your tagline, please, girls?
It's don't give up on your children.
Okay.
Because it's aimed at like older viewers, like older teenagers to older adults, so the people who are going to have children. So we're thinking if we make it quite realistic and to do with your children, then you'll get quite into the film and maybe not give up on your children.
Okay. And it plays on a lot of parents' fears, doesn't it? And
Yeah, it would.
yeah, so which is obviously not a very nice thing to do, but a good ingredient for a thriller. In terms of, tell us a little bit about how you plan to film this, and also what we'll see in the first 2 minutes. Did you cover that already? What we'll see in the first 2 minutes?
Briefly.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit more about what we'll see in the first 2 minutes. So how we'll kind of get an understanding of what the film's about, and also where you're going to film it, who you're going to use, and any sort of safety measures you'll need to put in place.
We're going to film it at Chloe's dad's house. It's like a house in the middle of like loads of fields and stuff. So we're going to make it not a known location that a lot of people around here know where it is, so they're not just going to look and think that's Tufton Park. They're going to like not know where it is.
And we're going to use my little sister, which we've already checked through, with my dad and my mum, which is fine, they said.
Okay.
And the little girl is going to have a toy, a specific toy that she gets like that she has with her when she's taken. So when we flick back to her, just to make it clear to the viewers that it's her, like she's going to have that doll like throughout when she gets older, and we're going to make it look like it's got older as she has.
In terms of how she actually gets taken, how are you going to show that, do you think?
We were going to do a close-up of her running along along the floor, and say one of us is filming, and then the other one we could have put like a dramatic sound effect in the background, and then like pick her up off her feet, and she'll probably just think it's a joke, but like hopefully through the camera it'll look like she's getting pinched,
Right.
and then take it away.
I'm just thinking, in terms of, how old's your sister?
3.
3. In terms of a 3-year-old, and this is obviously quite a disturbing thought to think about, if somebody was going to abduct a 3-year-old, would they do it in that way, or would they try to kind of entice them?
Yeah.
You know,
What, like lure them away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
obviously when you're that age, you're quite trusting, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, the plot isn't definite. If that didn't work or something, we could try another way. We
we could, like, I suppose, like, get her with the toy, like take
Yeah.
the toy and then make her follow us with the toy.
I think you could have you could really play with the audience with this
Yeah.
one, and you could even, thinking about your use of music, you could have a real change in the music because you could start with it being
when
quite,
she's walking away.
you could have it quite a tender scene with like,
Yeah.
you know, come on, we're going to go for a little walk. Yeah, of course we can bring the teddy, have some nice music, and then as they walk away, kind of change that music so it
Yeah.
sort of takes on a bit of a sinister
Yeah.
tone. So really kind of playing with what your audience think is going on, you know, because they might think, and perhaps not tell them that this is not their mum or
Yeah.
you know, not a relative of theirs.
You could almost play with the camera, couldn't you? Like, as the little girl is walking away with this person, you could have like full-on shots of the girl walking, and you can see the face of the little girl, and it's lovely. And then as they walk past, you can almost change it, so you're filming like the girl and this person walking away from the camera, so it ties in quite nicely with the
Yeah.
music. You're giving sort of indirect messages perhaps to the audience. Have you thought any more about the different types of shots or editing techniques that you might want to use in these opening 2 minutes?
I think maybe obviously if we're gonna do it the way that you've said and like have them talking to each other, then we'll do like a shot reverse shot between the little girl and the person who's actually taking her.
Okay.
And we'll do, to open it, maybe an establishing shot to get the scene of, it'll be a nice scenery, and then it'll completely juxtapose at the end of, like, she's being taken and stuff.
Where did you get your influences from? Have you watched any films in particular that's kind of giving you this idea, or?
The missing, we
Yeah.
knew we wanted to do something about someone going missing.
And then we watched like that, and that like probably gave us more of an inspiration to actually do it because it would actually work.
But then we thought it's quite like common for people to go people to film people go missing of our age and stuff. So we thought if we could try and do it
With a
and
little
make it work with a
person.
little.
And I think there's as I said, there is, you know, it's entirely up to you. It's just an idea, but there's some ways which you could really make this quite creepy. One of the things I can think of is that scene we just talked about. Nice music. Let the audience guess: are they being taken or are they not? No, they're just going with someone from their family.
Yeah.
You know, so you know what I mean? Go on then, go on. Yeah, of course we'll have so much fun, and really nice. And then obviously that doesn't upset your sister either.
No.
And then you can have a kind of voiceover of a, you know, if you get an adult, maybe ask a parent, I don't know, to kind of voice over almost like an appeal. You know, my daughter's gone missing,
That'd be cool.
and so we're watching it, and then oh God, that person,
witnessed
we've
this,
just liked that
yeah.
scene, we've just liked that
Yeah.
little girl, and you know, it's quite a nice moment. But hang on,
Quite upsetting in
Yeah.
the opening.
yeah, I think you could
minutes,
kind of,
wouldn't it? But-
yeah. You'd have a nice little
I
kind
think
of
that'd
turning
work
point in the first
well,
couple of minutes.
Yeah.
In terms of how you're going to use the titles, what have you any thoughts about that? You're going to have just the titles over the screens, over the footage.
We thought about doing a montage, didn't
Yeah.
we? Of lots of different like weird things we were going to do, like as the titles went through we were going to go like maybe with kids' toys in one picture coming up, and then like something weird like barbed wire or like a dark woods or something like overlapping each other.
Okay.
And then in like the corners of that we'd then put the titles and the names of people in the film.
So you could have a kind of minute and a half or so of the opening story,
Yeah.
which just
And
sets the
then it goes
thing,
into that.
and then it goes into a nice little title thing where you can use a bit of a montage effect.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mm.
I think it's a really good idea.
I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah. I think obviously, you know, you've done, we'll talk about that nearer the time, but you've done a bit of sort of preparatory work in looking at the health and safety aspects.
Yeah.
In terms of your audience, I think
Some understanding, yeah.
that kind of sort of film my mum would love. So it's anything tragic involving children, anything that makes her cry. So we've got the tagline, we've got what if premises. Anything else?
No, I
Think
feel
so?
like there's quite a nice idea there.
Yeah, I think so.
I think there's lots of planning that will need to go
Yeah,
into this.
definitely.
Yeah,
And I think working with such a young child as well, you're going to have to take into account she's not going to want to stand still when you want her to. She's not going to want to
yeah,
film again and again and again for hours on end. So you've got to be very clever
Yeah.
in getting those shots
Yeah.
at the right time, or giving her a break and an ice cream and a run around and then trying to start again. You know,
Yeah.
she's not going to have kind of like the the sort of willpower that you two will have. So just you know, be conscious of those sorts of things.
They famously always said, it's a bit of an old saying, that they never work with children and animals when it comes to TV and film. So you're trying to do
good
one
luck.
of them. I would have some other things. I mean, you know your sister. You'd have some other things to distract her a little bit if needs be. Some of those shots, which you might be able to get where she's looking a bit distracted, will probably be quite good. And I think I said to you before about when they filmed Utopia and they wanted to get the child to look a little bit.
Yeah.
They just literally held a iPad over the top with some games on it, or Peppa Pig, and he was like, so, because the other thing is, well, with more children, you know, especially ones born into today's age, they'll start looking down the camera, wanting to turn it round, stuff like that. So there's quite a few things to think about when it comes to the to using your sister, but it's a really good idea. A lot of potential there.
Yeah.
But planning's going to be key.
Okay. Yeah.
Well done. Good luck.
We'll fund that, won't we? We'll fund it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Thanks.
All right.